prior SAP data, or of course, advantage, legacy data from any other provider. We're going to see some things today as a refresher on what the solution actually does to assist in those processes. And I even have a new scenario that we didn't have last time. So here it is. The idea behind Easy Migration is to, it will move legacy data, but in your case, you don't want to do SAP data, so it's not going to do that. But what we're looking at here is the compare, right? So primarily, we're going to be comparing the data from a legacy system through a file, right? So they're going to have a file that they're going to give us, and we're going to have some nice automated ways to compare the data in that file. To Brian's point, what he was talking about, and Eric, you mentioned you want the cloning solution. The cloning solution is perfect, right? The second you get your production, or not even production, you get your first set of data loads into the QA environment out there. At some point, you're going to do some config, and you're going to want to move that down to dev. Maybe you want to scramble it, and that's all baked in to the Go Live solution as well to move employee master data within the SAP systems. And we also have some neat ways to analyze that data after it's been calculated out there. And I'll give you the high-level overview of how that will assist not just you, but also assist the customer, right? They're coming from SAP. I'm sorry, they're coming from Advantage to SAP. Everything's going to be Greek to them. So we have some solutions out there that try to break down some of the complexities of SAP payroll and make it simpler to analyze that. So really, and you already said it, right? Once you get to the parallel one and you start getting your systems integrated and the data over there, that's kind of when Easy Go Live kicks in. And then we start, going through all these processes, testing, some of the parallel data, looking at employee master data, making sure, everything got loaded, things are in check. These are the types of things that we're going to do through this phase of the project with Go Live. And really, we already talked about all the stuff. You guys kind of get it. You already know the reasons why you want Easy Go Live into this system, right? Parallel test, clone employees, and analysis. And that's kind of what I'm going to show you today, right? We'll talk about the parallel testing runs first. We'll just briefly overview the data that gets copied when you want to do a clone. And then I have a neat little scenario of analysis that's definitely going to happen out there that will give us some insights how to help yourselves and the customers diagnose what exactly happens with the payroll. Right. Let me just pop over here and let's see if I got logged out. From a technical standpoint, let's see here, TH20. Oh, I did get logged out. Look at that. So from a technical standpoint, all of our software is ABAP based, right? So it gets installed inside their ECP landscape. You sound like you already have 3 systems set up. That's impressive at this stage of the game. So the transports will go in. The customer will typically create a ticket with SAP to get them put in there, and they'll load them through the track, right? Dev, QA, production. There's obviously some security roles that have to get set up to actually access the transaction codes. And in this case, the one you're going to be going to is /bin/Easy Go Live.
I'm used to loading the transports myself, so I guess the rest of
there you go.
Yeah.
Directions are pretty simple. They're going to give you.
There'll be an additional complexity because we're going to an NS2 system on the cloud. So.
Oh, really? I've already loaded transports from former other things I've worked on into the payroll system.
Yeah, it's just an ABAP system. I'm just telling you that NS2 will want to know.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, it's usually just a paperwork form. I just went through this with another customer last week that they're going to want filled out about our software, and I'll give you what do we call it? Our full functional spec and all that sort of things. I mean, they should start to be getting familiar with this. It's not the first time we've loaded our stuff in NS2, so hopefully it'll go smoother for y'all. Ignore this message. I'm not sure why it's popping up. Developer screwed something. So Easy Go Live, right? So Easy Go Live comes with all the components that we just talked about. There's this full menu out here, options out here. Some will be not used by y'all because it has functionality for obviously people moving SAP to SAP. But the first thing you're going to do is you're going to do this legacy file import, right? So the idea behind this is this. I'm going to pull up a file here in a second so it makes sense. What you're going to end up with is a file. Might look something like this. This is obviously a very simplified version for demonstration purposes. Not open, yeah. Right. So you're gonna get a file from them that's probably got some employee information about it. They're partner at minimum probably. Maybe it's got name, who knows? But it's gonna have some sort of pay code, right? And a pay code is essentially gonna be a wage type, and you're gonna have to translate that. Right. When I look at this is their gross pay. That translates to /101 in payroll, right? Is there a question?
You load their codes in there, or the file has to have it transformed, or is there a mapping?
We have a mapping. So what I'm saying is it does not have to be transformed. We can transform it on the fly. If you can get the client to transform it, it makes the process a whole lot easier, to be quite honest with you, especially when it comes to taxes.
That's usually what I try to do, and it's specifically because of the taxation. So.
Exactly, right? The taxation is a pain in the neck. Can I map the taxation? Sure. Do I enjoy doing it? Not really. But if you wanted to, so let's say, so if it's like for like, perfect, that makes life easier. However, if you did have to translate it using the software and you had a mapping table, we do have those capabilities, right? Because what we're going to see is I'm actually going to import this file, and it's actually, we'll do the translation. We'll make this gross. We'll make this like, 1,002 or something like that. And what it'll do is, what the process does is actually, you've already calculated your payroll for the period for parallel in the system. And what it will do is Easy Go Live will read the current data in the ECT system for that specific period that you tell it, and it will also suck in this file, and then it will compare the data, and you'll actually get a nice little error mechanism to see what matches. And that's what I'm going to take you through right now. Because what we're going to do is we're going to run the parallel run. Oops, I forgot. We are eventually going to run the parallel run from a file. That said, this is just a parallel run, right, for every wage type that's out there. But this is scenario based. You just have to do one specific scenario. What do I mean by that? I'm going to run this legacy parallel testing scenario out here, and it's going to actually do a couple things for me. It's going to run exactly what I just showed you, that wage type import and compare. Right. It'll also do a master data compare. If you have master data you want to, from a legacy system, and compare that it was loaded into the system. You can also do changes, right? We were looking at a file at the employee level. I can even look at it at the wage type level holistically, right? Like maybe there's a wage type out there that's only off by 1%. That's fine, close enough for government work, move on. But you can actually see, how far off, the wage types in general, and not just at the employee level, but summed up for the whole period. Like you can really zero in and say, oh my God, that thing's really off. We know that wage type is a problem. And you can build additional scenarios. So if they have some crazy pension process that just, doesn't line up, and you want to build a specific, report and or scenario for that, you can do that in here. And then when you execute these things, they execute as a suite. So every time you run your parallel test, it'll run this one, this one, and this one, and you'll have a log of everything that was kept. So it makes life a little easier to know, not just what you're doing, but what you did, and I'll explain that in a second. Right, so this is the scenarios, testing scenario we're going to kick off. Parallel run from file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run a comparison run, because I've already actually run this. We're going to see not only the results that we're doing current, but there's some notes functionality where you can actually include things to keep track of, what you did in the past, right? So we're going to run this scenario down here. It's my wage type compare employee and summarize level. And the prior run that I just did, which in this case is here. This box, and we'll just call this test number 3. So when we actually in that specific scenario, right? The wage type compare the employee and the wage type compare right? So we have our three scenarios. There's 9 total issues in here. Obviously, this is a small data set for the sake of demonstration, so we can see. What's cool is this is all set up. You go drill on it, and this is just a basic one. This one just does hours and all those sorts of things involved in there. So it ran the payroll, or excuse me, it reported the payroll for the specific period. We have I think it's like period 2 or something, right? So you get your payroll wage type, you get your payroll amount, and because it's translated, that gross, there's a mapping table in the back end, gross amount that just like 101, everything lines up, right? So I can see there is no difference in gross. Gross seems fine. There are pre-tax.
question. So is there running this other parallel systems where in SAP like deductions are all negative, and when I get stuff from the legacy system, they're all positive. I used one parallel compare tool where I could click on a button and say, change the sign so that the signs are the same. What happened in this scenario? Maybe if you need me to explain more, I will, but I didn't know if how. Okay.
So this is a report on that. We go in and say for those specific wage types, you flip a sign on it. So we can just say more, and then we have just one column over here. The simple we do that for us. So we just need to know the wage types are impacted by that negative indicator.
So that's all I needed to know. Thanks.
But those you don't really want to use them because you don't want that. You want the negative. Cool. Oh, my notes on this one. I'm going to go back to prior here. But you see the differences. Which is,
Right. If they're testing their thresholds, they can actually justify right there or something of that nature, correct?
yes. Let's just this is okay. I can actually go put it in here. So, or let's say more STD now. Slash one. Okay. And I might not do this but I put a note here. The next time I run this now, verified in the past, and you can just have it. Filter these things to fix that you want. If anything, was matched, we would just say, life is good out there. Because we've done it. This is the employee level. What I was like the other day, because I was like, you know what, this is out there maybe 20 or so, and they're refined the different wage types that are out. I like this one, so I'll put this in here, which you guys will get, because this doesn't actually have a wage type level, right? So now I can see holistically, we had those in our file that were out there, what the massive differences are, like what things really, and we'll probably put a percent difference over here as well, so we can say, all right, this is all by 1%, let's move on, or something like that, and then we can look at it from a holistic nature. And this is probably where I put my notes. And actually, you can see I did put notes in a prior run for this one, so you can see there's already some notes in here.
I have another question. Can you set threshold properties? If it's less than $1, it's fine.
So actually, I just stole that from one of our other partners. They were doing a similar thing where they had like a difference and they had some thresholds in there. If it's any employee that's off by a penny, ignore it.
Yeah, that stuff.
one of the, you know, we set a whole series of thresholds. So there's $1 threshold, there's a $10 threshold, $1,000. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of different levels.
That's
that
what
way they can filter through them piece by piece. It's really easy to do.
I set thresholds for gross, thresholds for net, thresholds for deductions, you know, so on and so forth. And it's nice when you see a compare if it, you know, if it just passes, if something is within the thresholds, and then we don't have to go through and make documentation on it.
Exactly, and it gives the customer not only that, you can run this and it'll help you get sign off to move to the next, you know, toll gate, right? So if you run this and it's like you're at toll gate 1 and it's 97% accurate, that might be enough to say, hey, here's the numbers, 97% accurate. Can we move on, you know, to the next phase of the project? And that's exactly what we're doing with those other people. Cool. So this is the import and compare, right? You can put some notes in here. You can look at things at the wage type level. You can look at things at the employee level. This is very simple. You're probably going to want hours in here, taxable wage types. Like this list would be, you know, extensive, you know, probably 100 wage types or so out there if you're looking at it at the wage level. It's totally customizable. Any of these fields, if you need something else out of the payroll cluster, if they have some process, we can build something around that. We just pre-deliver, you know, obviously basics out of the box. And you can go about any prior run that you did. Right? So you can go in here and say, all right, these are all the prior runs that happened. What happened specifically here on S4, just in case you're like, I want to fix this, right? You know, you can go back and look. We just ran September 4 only had 2 things in there, but you can go back and take a peek and see what actually occurred in prior runs. So it definitely gives you a tracking mechanism across your different parallels out there. And it allows you to do it quickly, right? Go fix a wage type, recalculate payroll, see if it processed correctly, right? This is why clone comes in handy, because you can get that data down into dev, make some changes, and actually test the actual process down there without having to move it QA, figure out it's not working, and, you know, back to dev, SEC1, wash, rinse, repeat kind of thing out there.
Exactly.
Yep. So that's how run. This is silly. Sorry, guys. You might be replicating in the system. I tell everybody that from a cloning perspective, if you want to copy an employee from, you know, a QA environment down to dev, there is obviously some RFC hookup we have to do here to get those systems linked up, which you probably would already have done. But we copy enough data to accurately recalculate the payroll. So when it comes to what we're going to copy, we will get the payroll results. If they have any time evaluation component in there, some people do, some people don't, we can get that stuff. When it comes to the info type data, we're going to pull all of that stuff in. It is already preset for the United States out there. So when it reads the employee, it will sit here and say, these are all the relative info types that EasyClone knows about for the United States, right? It's already pre-built to say this is all the stuff relevant for the US, whether they have it or not, right? All the direct tax info types are in here. If you guys do have to end up doing any out there, it will do that at a certain point in time. You may do data, at least when they go live, should they get the product, that's an option as well. But this is, you know, the nice clean way to say, all right, we got a problem, let's move this guy down and replicate the issue down there. So it's twofold, right? Once you get some data in the system, you'll be using EasyClone to get that data down to dev. You might be recalculating payroll and then using Easy Go Live again, you know, to do the comparisons with the file to make sure everything's in check. So you can see how all these tools mesh together, if that makes sense.
Yes, totally. I've used EasyClone before, so I know how to use it.
Perfect. That's my favorite tool that we actually offer. I wish I had it back in the day. The last part is twofold. So this is not just for y'all. It might even be, you know, for the customer as well. Because Easy Go Live is typically in the system even after you go live. And this is the investigation piece of it, part of our Easy Help Desk tool. What it allows you to do is when they have that problem or something's not right in payroll, it gives you all the information in one spot. You don't have to go into the PC pay results. You don't have to be hopping around the input types. You're looking at Employee Central data. it literally lists every payroll result that was ever calculated for them. Even if it was a bonus run or off cycle, they would be here as well. But the idea is these people are, I mean, you guys know SAP, you know, me and you can get around this thing pretty quick and try to figure stuff out, run a recon and whatnot. But some people are new, right? They're gonna, you're gonna show them all these things and they'll be like, oh my golly, what is this? Well, with EasyClone, you can sit here and say, all right, something happened with Hermione in Period 4 of 2015. And EasyClone is, the help desk tool is literally going to start telling them exactly what happened in that period. They retroed 3 periods back in this case. They had a calc difference of $418. And that might be the issue, right? Somebody's calling up and saying, hey, why is my pay different? I mean, this person obviously got paid more, so they might not call, but they're going to have to figure this out, right? But we make it pretty simple to figure out, all right, well, where did this $418 come from? Well, let's find out. You don't have to go run a recon. You can kind of look at all the different pay components that made up their pay right here, right? Their payments, deductions, taxations, you know, things that were paid. And in this case, there's my $418. What happened? Oh, it looks like it happened on their salary was a little different, had an increase, and their holiday pay had a little increase. And I'll even go back and tell you, you know, what periods that occurred in, right? So all that recon information that you need to figure out where the difference lies is right here. So it's going to tell you what the difference is. In this case, retro could obviously be any other thing. This thing's even telling us about some arrears that are out there. But we give you the way to easily, you know, find the needle in the haystack, and that's what I call the solution. It's the needle in the haystack finder out there. And in addition, like me and you can probably look at this and go salary and holiday pay. Well, I bet they definitely probably got like a pay increase. It could be on like 14, 15, or 15 or 8. You know, they adjusted something, got a one-time payment, or their base pay changed. And in fact, no, their base pay did change, right? And so type 8 was changed, and you can even see that specific change here. Right, we can see that on this specific date, this specific date, 115, instead of retroed 3 periods back, which would put it back 3 periods back here, so the 115. They did get a pay change, right? They went from $60,000 to $64,000. So literally in 30 seconds, you can kind of decide or define what exactly occurred with an employee instead of having to hop around 8 different places. So you guys will definitely use this because it's just easier than hopping around everything. But from a customer standpoint, it makes their life so much easier. You don't have to train them on 8 different tools to go research the payroll out there. They can pretty quickly figure out, kind of what happened, because at some point they're going to go live and they're going to need some help in those first few periods trying to figure it out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. So those are the 3 components that I see you guys using. You obviously understand the payroll parallel portion of it. You've used EasyClone in the past, and this is our help desk product that's all baked in to Easy Go Live out there. So with that, I'll kick it back over to Bob and Chris and see what they got.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. And so really the next step, and Heather, welcome. I'm glad that you're on. You could join. The next step, because again, we're talking specific to state of Nevada, is that we need to get licensing documentation, specific to their ECP instances for Easy Go Live. And Eric, you mentioned Clone and Easy Reporter as well. So I need to draft those, and then I don't know if I need to work with you, Eric, or Heather, or someone else that can facilitate us, getting those executed by state of Nevada.
I know it's not me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I came from another meeting, and then they're still pinging me on that other meeting. So what's the follow-on steps again? Just getting everything into the system?
We have to license it for state of Nevada.
Okay.
There's license or cost.
Right, Heather. That was part of the discussion at the outset. Was really the distinction between LSI as a Spinifex partner now has all access to our solutions on your internal systems, right? So that you can train on them and everything. But when it's specific to a customer and their instance, then that does require direct licensing for the software between Spinifex and in this case, state of Nevada. Now, the only caveat to that.
So So that is something, I mean, we're going to have to get Yvonne and Jim Fergala and Sean into. I mean, I'm a team lead, but I'm not the one to talk. We're the ones to expose them to the tool. Let's just say that. But it's a little different pay grade to help Nevada understand that they were using these during implementation and that they can purchase them later. Does that make sense? I'll help however I can, but I'm not the one to start that conversation with them. So hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn. I've been running from meeting to meeting all day.
Sure. No. That's fine. And I think if you're directing us back to Sham, then Chris and I can speak with Sham about that. Just a clarification, Heather. So in the case of both implementation and run and maintain for the solutions that are needed for state of Nevada, there would need to be licensing. So that's why we're at that point where we really need to try to expedite that.
Okay, yeah, and so that would, I mean, and I know it sounds like it's hard to get a hold of Sean, but he's definitely the person that would bring you in as a partner of LSI to that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have a couple messages out to him, Heather, on some other things. So we'll definitely try to reach him about this because, and to Bob's point, the reason we license with the client is because it's our software in their environment and we're responsible for that software, not you, not LSI.
Right.
So God forbid something happened, you guys don't get in trouble, they come to us and we'll be the ones maintaining it. So and it's really just a contract through the project at this point. It wouldn't be it's not an eternal agreement. It's for the length of this project based on the project timeline. These are the tools that will be installed and used. That's really all it is.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. So yeah, this team helps.
They're removed unless the client decides to go further into a run and maintain situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And then we work with them.
I was getting the other story from Bob, and that's not how I was used to doing it. It's like, and because usually you guys, once we start using and showing these products, a lot of times it does lead to, oh, we want to keep this for run and maintain, and that's what we're hoping to do.
Exactly, and that's what we want you to do as well. And really, just to kind of say it up front, the reason we do this right away is because then we're already in a contract with them. So if they do decide to move forward or they want to add something, it's just a short contract addendum and we can do it quickly. We don't have to go through the whole legal process every time they want to add something. So we want to, we're preparing ourselves for hopefully that outcome where they like it and want to keep moving forward. But of course, if they don't, they have an out with that contract. The other thing too, and you brought up a great point, Eric, and Russ, this might be something for you, is when LSI has these tools installed in your own environment, in your demo system, you guys can create demonstration scenarios and show our tools. So that's really the benefit of having it loaded internally. Not only for education purposes, but so you can on the fly jump in, Eric, and show somebody how clone works, get them excited, get them want to see a further demonstration with Spinifex. So just kind of keeping that in mind of why we give you guys access to the tools internally as well.
Yeah. So Chris, a question for you. If I'm writing a solution document that I'm going to give to the client and I'm talking about specifically parallel, and I plan to write, we're going to be using the Spinifex. Do I say easy migration? Which one am I going to be?
For a client coming from a non-SAP environment, it would be easy go live.
Easy go live. Okay.
If they're coming from SAP, you use both.
Okay, easy go live. All right. And that gives me my parallel and my clone that I need to get them through that process.
Right.
And we do have the deck that Steve's showing, we can share with you guys as well, and you can, glean your information from that and share in your own presentation. So we can share that with you too.
That would be helpful.
Yep.
And Bob, I've already sent you our timeline. Obviously, it's always in a state of flux, but there you have it. So you have an idea of when we're looking to do things. And I'm glad we're starting now because anything with the state of Nevada, they use the SLOW process for doing things.
The SLOW process, a lot of companies use that tool.
Yeah.
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 Very popular.
Yeah, and absolutely, and especially if there's something that, with the agreement needing to be with the state of Nevada directly, of course, there's going to be that legal challenge as well. So it's a good thing we're starting early.
Yes. So I would encourage, you guys already have contacts with Sham.
Yep.
We can circle back, say, yeah, we've had it. We know what we need to do. So like get the ball rolling with the state.
Yeah. So what we can do, Eric and Heather, is Bob and I will work separately and create those documents that are required and send them to Sham, and we'll copy you. So that way you can follow up with him internally as well to make sure that they're getting reviewed. And then if there's any discussion or concerns, we can have a call all together to kind of walk through the process.
That sounds perfect to me.
Okay, great.
So at one point, Eric had raised a question about using Easy Reporter during the project, and I imagine that might just be a tool that he likes to use personally to see all the information and to be able to, get at things and so forth. Did we answer that question?
I can pull data from EC. That's why I like it.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we answered his question sufficiently, because with EGL, he should be able to do a lot of that stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my understanding too. It's going to have, that Easy Reporter functionality bundled into the Easy Go Live bundle, the solution.
And if there's anything, and to Brian's point, Eric, if there's anything outside of what's in Easy Go Live that you are thinking that you might want to use Easy Reporter for, then again, yes, you can use that. It'll be installed just for the project, then deactivated. However, of course, we would need permission from State of Nevada again to install that software. But we can talk about that, and if it needs to be included in that initial project contract, we can include it.
Okay. Well, it sounds like I have the tools that I need. So
Okay.
it says from Easy Go Live, I'll get to use the reporter in some aspects, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm good with that, and
Okay.
I'm going to try to make reports. I'm going to try to sell it. Is what I'm going to try to do. So
Good. Well, yeah. You'll need to talk to Sean to say if you sell it, you get a commission.
Oh, seriously, right?
One piece there, Eric, that we found customers really resonate to is the idea of using Easy Reporter that can pull data out of both EC and ECP to do that synchronization check around the replication process.
Yep.
So that's always something that
things I
worries
like
people.
That's my most favorite thing. So that's the reason I wanted access to it. So like I said, I'm going to try to sell it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you know what you're doing, it shouldn't be hard, right?
Yeah. And that Easy Reporter I know very well. What I Parallel Tool will be a first time through with me, but it looks similar to every tool I've used in the past and kind of mimics the look and feel of the reconciliation report layouts. So it's a good thing. And so I know what I'm doing with that. I feel comfortable. I just want the process started because it takes a long time to get things through with the state. And that's why I'm glad, Chris, if you copy Heather and I on this, we will keep Sham on the up and up and help him make sure he's taking action. So
Yeah, because I think it is important we get all this hammered out now so we're not held down and held back when the project, really gets full swing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The way I like to think about Easy Go Live, Eric, is just that it's like all of our tools packaged together to be used within a project so that it makes that project really easy to go forward, and at a project price point where people aren't trying to make 5-year commitments for all the different tools and all that kind of stuff, right? It makes it simple to execute all that stuff, and then they get the taste of it. They can actually do some proof of concepts around things with their own data, their own environments, and really help to understand whether those tools are going to add value or not for the long term.
Yep, that's why that's why I like your guys' business model. I like the way that you do that. It helps for an easy sell. That's
Yep.
Right.
Got to see it to believe it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want to spend too much time and effort on the sale either when the solution can sell itself.
Yes.
Exactly.
And it's been my experience, it does sell when a customer sees their own data and other stuff being used.
Sure.
It's just a whole lot easier for people to comprehend.
Yeah, it is. And especially those folks who are brand new to SAP coming from these non-SAP environments, they don't even know what they don't know and aren't going to understand, you know, the challenges until they see it.
Exactly.
Mhm. Excellent.
Well, good. This has been very helpful. Eric, thank you. I did see your email. I'll take a look at that and then I'll share it internally. And then Chris and I will, you know, get our heads together and put together the documentation. And then, as she said, we'll send it to Sham, copy you guys, and then we'll press for a, you know, follow up with him on that so that we can, you know, keep the ball moving forward as quickly as possible.
Yep, perfect. One caution with Sean, just, you know, let him know we're going to focus on using these tools during implementation. And if it turns into a sale, so be it. But I think that'll be an important point when you guys talk to him, okay?
Yeah, yeah. And that's why your timeline is very helpful. We'll align it to that, you know, so I think it'll make sense.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. Good. Well, then I think we covered what we need to. We know what we need to do, Chris, on our side, and we'll you know, expedite that and get something out just as quickly as we can.
Excellent.
All right.
All
You
right.
guys have a great weekend.
Yeah. Thanks.
And this is right. Chris, you gotta get in touch with me. Oh, I'm sorry. And Chris, you're going to get in touch with me as far as the.
Yep. I've got your email here, Russ, and I'll set up a time for us early next week just to kind of go over the landscape again and just kind of get a good understanding so we can make sure we get the tools internally to you as well.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks. Send me.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll send you some times for next week.
Thanks. Thanks all.
Thanks,
All right,
everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.